All right, so against this article, there is a research by Project Management Institute which states that more than half of all project budget risk is due to ineffective communication. The report by Project Management Institute expands on findings from 2013 Pulse of the Profession, which revealed that companies risk 135 million for every 1 billion spent on a project. The new research indicates that 75 million of that 135 million, which is 56%, is put at risk by ineffective communications, indicating a critical need for organizations to address communication deficiencies at the enterprise level. So let's talk about it. This is actually a pretty legitimate point of discussion in regards to the software development companies and the impact of a proper project management to the activities of these companies, right? This actually matches the research which I, with my team, did back in the day on the impact of communications to the successful delivery of the deadlines and to meeting budget expectations. Let me give you a simple example, right? So suppose there is a software project, there is a manager and two development teams which are working on that project and focusing on the project. It is scheduled on their roadmap, and they're just doing this project on their pace, right? So and one day during the quarter, let's say, a CEO comes and says, look, to the project manager, right? It's like, we need to change the priority, right? So this project is no longer a priority for us. We have a more priority project and we need to focus on another project. So the project manager says, okay, I will change the priority. And what they do is they go into Jira or to some other calendar application and they just change priority in the application without, let's say, informing one of the teams. Like they forgot to inform one of the teams about the priority shift, or even both of the teams, right? Like who knows how the manager, how bad the manager is, right? And what happens after that is that those teams, they keep working on the previous project and they don't work on the new project, right? So double harm effect happens at this point where the company, they don't meet the deadline for the new client, and they also do the job which is no longer necessary for them and even harmful, right? Like by doing the old project, right? So in this situation, nobody wins, right? So developers, when they find out, and usually they find out on some sync event or sync meeting where manager says, oh, why are you working on this project? But developers have no clue that the priorities had changed, right? And they are often as surprised as some other people that find out that they don't work on the new project but keep working on the old project. And this frustrates both the developers, the managers, and ultimately the company leadership, because company leadership was thinking that the priorities have shifted, the work has changed, and now everyone is working on something else. But they find out that the development resources have been spared, and the progress on the new priorities have not been made, right? So now let's talk about how to prevent the situations, right? So every time the priorities change and something happens on the company schedule, everyone should know about it, right? Project manager, development team, team leader of the development team, even the people like testers, anyone, right? Like all of them should be aware and communicated properly with email, or it's better even to do it like in person, that the priorities have changed, right? Like they should be clearly aware of that. Even of like some small changes, right? They should be aware and adjust their schedules. Of course, Scrum Masters should be notified too. Then there should be a process of accommodating a change, right? Whether it's it's a project manager who should make changes in the roadmap, or it should be using an automated tools that can adjust the schedule and communicate these changes to people automatically. And I would argue it's even better to use the tools because people can often forget, can often dismiss some information, and using of the tools can remind them or even adjust the schedule for them so that they know, and every day when they look at their priorities, they know that currently they need to work on these things, and so that they don't have any chance to dismiss that information. So that's basically the remedies against that. But the problem is very big, it's very important, and in general, communication, this proves the point that communication is a key part in all of the project management process in software development companies, and this is what the most valuable part is. Like, as we can see on the research, that the major parts of companies kind of not meeting deadlines or not meeting budgets is relates to that. So let's keep attention to that and use the best practices to avoid these situations.